The problem with the world of politics is that, well, really, it's a popularity contest. And as we've seen over here in the United Kingdom, well, sadly for Labour, they've realised that they're now not wanted also in Wales. Hardly surprising when you think, given the sort of treatment that they've given the wonderful Welsh people over the last, say, year and a bit since they've been in power. But what always fascinates me, chums, is really what's going on behind those famous, well, doors in Westminster and, of course, as many of you know, where I'm mainly situated, outside number 10 Downing Street. In fact, right now there's a battle royale going on behind those doors. And while Keir stumbles and stutters around talking about unity and flags and all the things apparently that mean something to him, well, behind closed doors, there's a couple of divas at war. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today in the very heart of a windy London. Hope you're keeping well wherever you are. Yes, I'm talking to you. We'll have a lovely wave. And yeah, politics, isn't it true? It's the world over. They may start off with good intentions, and there are still some wonderful regional local MPs that want to do good in their constituencies, but the minute they get the bite of the bigger cherry, and this is my feeling of having reported on politics for many years and interviewed many politicians, and in particular, people from big sort of organisations that have decided they're going to get in and become a politician. It's the power. They become literally power crazy. Earlier this week, we had the disgraced former Deputy British Prime Minister Angela Rayner giving a rousing speech as the bodicea of benefits in the House of Commons, basically telling her life story to a glass-eyed sort of house, thinking, right, okay, we've heard this before. No contrite, no sort of apology, no basically, I'm really sorry I got caught out, and apparently delighted to still serve her constituencies miles and miles away while living in a luxury apartment overlooking the Channel in Hove in Sussex, right? That's the dedication that Angela's got, you understand. Now, here's where this gets interesting, because earlier this week, the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, decided to visit a mosque. And at that mosque, he decided to, well, offer yet more millions of pounds to ring fence security, etc. Because, well, allegedly it was going to be burnt down, but it's all a bit hazy as to who was doing what. Again, I have to say allegedly. What's interesting, though, when you look at Keir Starmer, he didn't spend that long in Southport, did he? Placed a wreath and then left, only inviting those terrible poor families to Downing Street many months later. Where was that fast turnaround? But glued to his side was the current British Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood. And Shabana, you see, is one of these people that, she's very go-getting, very forthright and very, very pushy. Where does Ange fit into this? Well, you see, Ange thinks she's on the climb back, right? She's apologised now in front of the world. Her speech is on record. She's slimmed herself down, toned down the makeup, and then, well, there's no room there for Shabana, right? Well, Shabana, though, decided she was gluing herself to the Prime Minister because only she would be able to transmit the message that they wanted at that mosque. You see, basically, Labour realised that they've lost all voting power, and the only vote they feel they've got left now is the Muslim vote. Let me tell them something. The Muslims are fed up of them as well, because they're not treating them well either. But of course, as long as they keep doshing out our hard-earned taxpayers' money to mosques to ring-fence their security, whatever that might be, well, they think this will win them some favours. However, behind the scenes, Shabana and Angela, according to an excellent source, are not speaking. No. You see, Shabana's dream is to become the very first female Muslim president. You see, Shabana's dream, take two, take three. You see, Shabana's dream is to become the very first female Muslim Prime Minister of the United States. Oh God. Take four. Four. You see, Shabana's dream is to become the very first Muslim female British Prime Minister. I kid you not. And this has got back to the ears of Ange, who also sees the fact that she could now be an excellent replacement to win back the dwindling finances, funds, and more importantly, people voters back to the Labour Party. Shabana's not keen. She feels Ange has had a chance, blown it and moved on. Now, when you see them in public, they'll be all smiles, but behind the scenes, from an excellent source in Downing Street, things are not going well. And apparently, even though Ange now wants to wheedle her way back into certain meetings at Downing Street, in particular anything that she feels would get her recognised, back round the power table of the cabinet room, Shabana's not having it. And apparently, if Ange wants to come back as a lowly backbencher MP now, she has to go through her. And as you know, what Shabana wants, Shabana gets. She wanted this job. Apparently she's going to be stopping the boats. That remains to be seen. But as you can see, she pushed in with our Keir, didn't she? Making sure that she got all the headlines and making sure that he looked like her sidekick rather than the other way round. Truly, this is war behind 10 Downing Street, and it's proving quite delicious. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.